I'm just going to start things off with Caroline from SAS and Bobby from Meili here, and talk about conversion of ancillary. So why don't, Caroline, you go ahead and introduce yourself first, give us an idea what your role is, and then Bobby will do that the same with you before we get into the questions.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Caroline and I'm head of ancillary products and retail at SAS.
And I'm Bobby Healy. I'm founder and CTO of Meili Travel Technology. Been writing code in the travel industry for 35 years, and so much so that I know pretty much everyone in the audience, I think.
Very good, Bobby. Bobby, what does Meili mean? We just had that conversation before.
So unfortunately, it's the Norse god of travel, but it also conveniently is the Chinese word for beauty and the Iranian slang for dog shit on your shoe.
We'll stick with the first one, right, for this purpose. Caroline, SAS made a very deliberate choice to pursue a direct partnership instead of going with the aggregator and a group of many in this. So what were the key loyalty and commercial factors behind the decision to pick a single point of entry?
So I think it's all started with, we really deep dived into the ancillary portfolio and looked over our existing products, but also like new products. And then we deep dived into the car rental business, and we saw that we had huge unlocked potential there to do something really big. But because of that, we really need to do some strategic changes. And then we started to look out there for a perfect partner to help us with this, and then we found Meili that could really help us, and they had a lot of things that we really needed, like they have like the technology to be able to have help us with speed and flexibility and to create the products that we really wanted, and also really good seamless sales flow that our customers would like. But then what you're into, the most important is that they could help us, or that we could continue to have direct partnerships with our car rental partners.
And Bobby, just to follow up, so Caroline was saying looking at car rental partners. So Meili is focused very much just on car rental, or are you looking at other areas as well?
Oh, we're looking at other areas. Some announcements to come on that soon, not ready to announce yet. We look at ourselves as the kind of technical conscience of the airline to implement their ancillary ambitions. Myself and Mike McGurty co-founded Meili. It was kind of to hit the reset button on ancillary from both a technology point of view and a business model point of view. I think, with SAS, you have a level of ambition that's highly unusual in the airline space on pure conversion targets, things like that. And, for us, it was a very obvious next step. And we'd been doing car hire brokering for 15 years. There was a lot broken about that model. And I think I've worked with over 100 airlines on their car hire platforms, and I heard the same message every single time. Why are you throwing our customers under the bus? We want loyalty as the number one focus. We don't want this painful experience at the desk. So it's all about just, I would say, turnkey or shrink wrapping a pure airline loyalty approach to car hire.
And following up on that then, because that's a nice sort of segue into the next question to you, Caroline, is that SS's conversion rate on the car rental ancillaries has jumped considerably, and I guess by well over 2%, but after integrating with Meili. What's behind that, and did that surprise you?
So, of course, I'm super happy with the numbers that we see right now, and I will have to start to say that it's a teamwork. It's between us, it's Meili, but also the car rental partners. We've all done this together, and it's been high commitment. Otherwise, we'd never be able to see these great numbers. But then it comes down to what I a little bit said about to have direct partnerships. To really have strong relationships with them so that we can really tailor a really good offering to our customers. I think also our customers really enjoy us having these direct relationships, because then they feel they have more of a seamless journey to be able for us to have that. But then I think it also comes down to the platform. The sales platform, you can book a car in just like 60 seconds, which is really good. It's like a real retailing like platform that we have and that we can leverage on.
And which of those elements do you think is the main driver of that increased conversion success?
The thing is like all of them, but when it comes to loyalty, I think that's what's really strong. That if you rent a car with us, you can earn loyalty points. But a couple of years ago, we also added that you could earn level and status points. So you can actually drive yourself to the next level. And before that, you could only fly to get to the next level. But now we implemented it to car rental as well, and we have seen huge, great effects from that.
Multimodal status.
Yeah, I mean,
upgrade.
I would add in there. Well, first of all, myself and Mike have implemented over 120 airlines in our life for Ancillary. We've never seen conversion like we've achieved on SAS. I think it's a combination. Loyalty is definitely the biggest driver, but I think brand recognition is as well. And if you look at SAS's implementation, they're all well-known, trusted car hire brands. You know, you don't need 1,500 car hire companies and price chasers and race to the bottom. And so often conversion is heavily impacted by a shock of unrecognized brands on the display, particularly for leisure travelers. You see all this, what I would say are junk car rental companies that do drive margin on the transaction, but drive away loyalty customers, high quality customers. So I think it's a combination of, yeah, of course, because I'm the tech guy, it's obviously the technology is the factor, but it's not, it's business model. It's about aligning loyalty with strong car rental brands and doing a clean, trusted interface for your customers.
And Caroline, maybe just when you went about thinking of which of those car rental companies are your partners, was that something that SAS thought, which ones fit to my brand, or was it something that Meili said, hey, here's a recommendation of who you could work with, or how did that come about?
No, so it's actually us picking out which brands do we want to work with, which one fits to our brand. So of course we did like an RFP there as well to see, okay, which brands should we actually work with. But that I think it's one of the benefits to have direct partnerships and to go with this model that we have done is that we have more commercial strategic, like we can make the strategic decisions.
You have it under your control, right?
It's
so
under our control, which ones we want to go with.
Yeah. And Bobby, I don't want to make this too much about the platform itself, right? Because it's actually the business success that's the really interesting part. But nonetheless, how does the platform actually enable this? Like what's different than the other platforms that we used to see that would just aggregate a whole bunch of different stuff?
Yeah, like we're not, first of all, we're not catching rockets. It's not deep tech. It's what I would call commercial tech. So most of the work we've done after what you would call the aggregation and normalization layer, most of the work has just been enabling flexibility at the commercial layer. So the SAS team can trade with their car rental providers, the loyalty team can trade, and they can have real-time, really dynamic offers and packages for their customers that need no involvement from us. So I would say we basically outsource the marketplace to the partner, and they can do whatever the hell they want with it. So the tech to do that isn't, it's like I said, it's not catching rockets. It's about knowing exactly what the right business model is and building for that, and that's what we have.
Talking about building the right product then for the business model, let's talk about tech and tech blockers. If we think about the legacy technology that the airlines are on today, was that a blocker to any of this, or is that just often used as an excuse to explain why things might be complex when it's actually something else? And which blockers did you maybe have and have to get over?
Of course, like legacy tech is not always that easy to overcome. But what is really good with the Meili setup is like they had to do the heavy work, while our tech team, I think they spent the most 3 days of implementing this great product. But of course, there are other departments involved in bringing this success. But I think that is the key when you adding a new partner or new products, like non-air products, that you need to find the right partners that can do the heavy tech.
How did you guys as the tech company then get over or bypass some of the legacy tech blockers?
It's ugly as hell underneath, as they say. The lipstick on the pig, well overused term. We've seen Mark Lennon in the audience there. We sold a lot of lipstick in our day. You know, underneath, the legacy is easily abstracted, and the business doesn't need to know about that. The nice thing about Ancillary is you don't need to worry about that, and so that hasn't been a hard part for us. So we've approached this to make it for an airline. Everyone's heard of Stripe for payments, right? And 2 lines of code and it just works. And now they're starting to realize how magic that is. You just drop in, you know, a line of code and you get Stripe, and suddenly you can handle payments around the world. And that's what we've done for car hire, like 2 lines of code and just done. Everything just works.
And I guess you, Bobby and Mike, you guys have been around the airline industry so
I'm
long.
100 years old, yeah.
You know what the biggest challenges are.
The challenge is always airline tech teams have other priorities. Yeah. Generally, they're air-related priorities. They're not non-air-related priorities. So if you put any friction whatsoever in front of them, you're going to be deprioritized everywhere. Yeah. And so, you know, we have to be honest, car hire is one of the top 3 ancillaries, but it doesn't compete with bags or seat selection or rewards or any of that stuff. So we have to be realistic and make it absolutely zero friction. And that's kind of something we got wrong in the past, in our past life, that we have gotten right this time.
And I think that's interesting to hear that car hire is, after seats and bags, kind of one of the next big ones. And Carolyn, you know, SAS, you've become one of the top performing airlines in that space, at least in Europe. What's next? What else do you see as the next big opportunity to start integrating and selling and maybe combining with loyalty or not in your platform?
As you mean with the car rental?
Yeah.
No, but of course I'm so competitive. So of course we want to be #1 in the world selling car rentals. So we have put together a really good roadmap for this year to be able to reach that level, to go to the next level. And some of the things we're going to do is that you're going to start to retrieve the car rental booking in our app, so that our app really becomes a travel buddy. And another thing we're going to do is to start with redemption. We're going to create a new redemption platform. We're also going to add car rental to our conscious traveling program. So if you rent a EV, you will earn points to become a conscious traveler. And then I think we'll continue to work heavily with campaigns. I think that is one of the most successful tools that we can use. So we're looking into, can we do some more like fun campaigns to drive? But I think we really need to continue also with creating the loyalty, get people to really book with us because of the loyalty points.
And to drive some of those things, is there anything on the platform side that you guys say, hey, here's a great innovation that we're going to make available to SAS and others that's going to help? Let's say the whole CO2 or the sustainability aspect that Carolyn mentioned, or anything like that?
Look, you know, retailing and merchandising is a well-known, well-understood science. What's not visible is technology's moved on a lot now, particularly mobile technology, native mobile, and there's certain expectations on speed, response times, quality that customers wouldn't have been able to get in the past because Java or all the different systems that were there weren't designed for merchandising and retailing. So we have a tailwind that we take advantage of now, having just modern technology. But can I come back to one point which I think is hugely important on the conversion? It is a fact that in car hire, on average, people will visit 6 different websites to shop around for car hire before they will make the purchase. The reason that is the case is there's zero trust in car hire aggregation. People do not trust that that is the best price. And so trust is what you're really selling when you want to do a good job of retail and merchandising. And that comes back to the airline's brand, The loyalty is a huge factor, but the car rental brand and honesty in the display is just as important. And like the fact that SAS has the best conversion I've ever seen is testament, I think, to the fact that it isn't about technology, it's about business model.
And I think it's an interesting aspect because, you know, saying go shopping around and the consumer thinking, is it the best price, yes or no? I guess that tie-in with the loyalty aspect and that, you know, I can collect status kind of makes that less relevant, right? That whole price shopping, because they get other value out of working or buying, purchasing from SAS with these preferred brands as well. Isn't that the case? So what lessons do you think that other airlines can take away from SAS's experience around loyalty and this campaign tied to car rental or in general a third-party component, not selling just a flight?
No. So I think there are probably like three things. I think the setup that we have right now with direct partnerships is number one, because it gives you so much strategic leverage to be able to create the product that you want to offer, number one. And then it comes down to the loyalty. I think be a little bit bolder, not stick to the normal, just give out points, start to give out like level points or status points, because that would drive conversion. And it's also like you competing with all these other platforms, like you said, so we, of course, would try to have the best price, but when we run loyalty campaigns, like you can earn up to 10,000 points, that means if you book with us, you will actually earn a flight, and no one else can compete with that.
So partnership, loyalty, and I won't call it price, 'cause I think it's more value, actually, that you're promoting here, isn't it? Anything?
And I think like also with campaigns, it's good to work heavily with campaigns because it gives you a reason to talk about car rental in all our platform, like on the website, in CRM. We have gone with paid media this year, and it gives you really reason to talk about it. And I've heard somewhere like you need to see it 7 times for a person to pick up that we actually sell car rental.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's our time is already up. Thank you very much for that. But Carolyn and Bobby will be at the Meili booth at 11 o'clock. So if you do
handing out lollipops.
And there's lollipops, which is probably worth going for, even if you don't have a question. So they're at the Meili booth at 11 o'clock. So if you do have any follow-up questions, just go ahead, meet them there, and ask away. Thank you very much.
Thank you.